This is a video for people looking for a new PMS. You see reviews about Cloudbeds and want to know what's true, what's not true, because as everyone in hospitality knows, there's a lot of false reviews online, good and bad. So as a real user of Cloudbeds, not an employee, I'm going to read the reviews and comment. What are legitimate gripes, legitimate praises, which reviews are clearly outdated, everything. Now, I do have a Cloudbeds affiliate link. Please click it if you want to sign up for a one-on-one demonstration of the software. One, because it helps fund this YouTube project where I teach you and your staff how to use Cloudbeds. And two, you get 50% off if you decide to purchase through my link in the description of this video. However, here's an extra bit of information that'll convince you that I'm planning on being just 100% honest today, regardless of the affiliate link. If you look at my channel, you'll see I haven't made a Cloudbeds video in 2 months. And that's because we had a serious bug in the software for 3 whole weeks. The main calendar that we use constantly all day, this thing here, in the app, it would not load at all, even after waiting 2 minutes and refreshing the page. And when it would actually be nice and actually load, it wouldn't display the correct color coding of the reservations like this. It caused many staff and customer complaints. This was a big bug and it lasted 3 weeks, so that was pretty bad. So I couldn't record videos. But then when I finally could, when it was fixed, I really didn't want to. I didn't think I could be fair or enthusiastic in my videos, meaning that I do believe Cloudbeds is a great piece of software overall. But I knew any videos I make, I'd focus overly on the negative things instead of having a balanced perspective, which is how I normally am, which is how I am today. Despite the 3-week bug, I do believe that Cloudbeds is going to be the PMS. If it isn't already, everyone I talk to seems to use it. It already has a crazy amount of features and flexibility, and they constantly add features, so I think they could end up beating Opera as the best PMS hands down. As long as they keep their prices within the reasonable rates as they grow, since that usually is a sticking point for hospitality businesses. Anyway, that's my personal review of Cloudbeds, not a full one, obviously. But despite having been through something negative recently, I still genuinely believe in Cloudbeds and that over time they're just going to get better and better. Anyway, so let's now read some other reviews and react to them. Cloudbeds has given my hotel a new life. Our goal when switching to Cloudbeds was to save time doing daily tasks, but the software has done so much more. Our direct bookings have increased over 35%. So this first point, by the way, this is true especially for our managers. We have assistant managers that do things like reconciling and charging no-shows and stuff like that. And we've set up some of the Cloudbeds features to do most of this stuff for us. So there's actually very little for our managers to do apart from responding to emails and things. I don't know if our bookings have increased. I think our personal policy changes have affected it more. But we might actually have more website bookings, if I had to guess, since our old website wasn't good for so long. Let's continue. Guests have noticed the rate checker on my booking engine and feel confident booking directly. I don't know what that is. We also have seen a boost in OTA bookings. We added a couple niche channels this past year offered in Cloudbeds Channel Manager, and without any extra work from my team, the reservations have increased. Attaching new channels does take extra work, so I don't know what they mean by that. In fact, I have added a couple new channels, and it's, if you want to be detailed, that just takes time. And dorms.com, we've only received 3 bookings from so far. Not bad, but, And we also attached Airbnb. That actually is one of my favorite features, is that Airbnb reservations automatically come into the calendar, which our prior software did not have. We used to have to manually make those. So that was a really good channel to have. My favorite part of the software is Pi. I never used Pi, but our other manager used Pi, and he thought it would be good, but it just didn't end up working for whatever reason. I can't comment on why. No longer am I worrying about rate management, the automated changes, blah, 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 Pi stuff. I am a smaller boutique hotel and don't have the luxury of a big staff. My goal has always been to focus on the guest experience and to get away from the computer. Cloudbeds has streamlined every aspect of my operations, and my guests feel it. Overall, I am thrilled with my Cloudbeds experience. The people in the company seem to be happy to help me succeed. There are a lot of friendly, helpful people, especially when you set up. So I agree with that. But more time away from the computer. I don't know if that's true. I guess for some of our staff, yeah, that's correct. Knowing the 24/7 support, there is a good feeling, but to be honest, I haven't needed support very much. We overwhelm support, sometimes just with stupid questions because we want to do something weird, and sometimes with just one-off bugs that, just have an issue with one reservation for some reason. We are asking them if this is going to be an ongoing thing or not. So, I mean, we are probably annoying customers, I had to guess, at my hostel. But they always respond really quick, so that's cool. The software has built-in training videos, and the software has been extremely reliable. So they do actually have some training videos, but I've always been surprised at how little they have for how popular of a PMS they are, which is why I started this YouTube channel. Anyway, when I have questions, I have the answer pretty quickly in the help desk. True. I give Cloudbeds 10 out of 10. I highly recommend letting Cloudbeds be your software partner. Cloudbeds is fast and easy to use. Cons, hard to say what can be done to improve. It's good to know they don't stop innovating. Yeah, that's true. They are constantly making changes. In fact, I wish I got their update. I really need to get back into RSS and reading blogs because they do publish updates, but I get them, I don't seem to get them monthly by checking my Facebook. Anyway, that's something stupid, but they always add features, and if you don't read about their updates, sometimes you won't see them. Which is silly because some of them are really, really, really useful to our business. Great at some things, missing many. Cloudbeds is the best of an embarrassingly bad market. That's true. We actually were looking for something better than our last software, and Cloudbeds was literally the only good option, apparently. I wasn't the one who searched for it, but I ultimately approved Cloudbeds before we switched over. Their support is cheery and relatively quick to respond, which is all the more frustrating when they consistently cannot help you nor provide you insight into whether your issues will ever be fixed. That's kind of true. I'm laughing because it's funny to me because they seem to be constantly hiring. So you'll sometimes get a support person that you know is probably inexperienced, or maybe they're just a dummy, I don't know. And all you have to do is learn to push it to someone more experienced. Like be specific. Like, hey, can you push this? Yeah, can you send this to someone who's been there longer? Because I feel like your answer might be incorrect. I've over time, over the last year or so, been able to tell and resolve support issues faster because you could tell who's helpful and who's not really. To be fair though, when we started off, we got the best of best support people. So they're not going to leave you hanging right after you sign up or anything like that. You just have to learn to work with them like any other PMS would, and they always respond. So what is there to complain about, really? They provide an ideas site for their customers to use, so their employees aren't required to actually talk to customers. I don't think you want developers talking to customers, so I don't know if that's a real complaint. And they have gone so far as to remove the ability to comment on ideas in order to add more detail, use cases, etc. If screaming into the void wasn't bad enough, now they've closed the door in front of your face. I thought I've seen comments on some of the ideas tab things, but maybe not. I don't know if that's still relevant or not. But yeah, sometimes I do send them something like, hey, I know your software works this way and that's on purpose, but here's a reason why you might want to change it slightly. And they'll usually just send you to the ideas area, when really it probably should at least go to development to debate and then, decide if my suggestion makes any sense. But I don't know how much they use it because I don't work there, so I don't know how often they use the ideas tab. That's the doorbell at my hostel, so it's a busy day, so you're going to hear that a lot. Pros: seamless integration with third-party channels. Yep, that was always good. Would be nice to have less manual work in between each, but that is not something Cloudbeds could change easily. Yeah, I don't know how that's a Cloudbeds thing, since it's up to the third party. Online booking widget site is very good. Agreed. Customer friendly. Haven't received nearly any calls for people unable to figure out how to book. Correct. Calendar is relatively simple to use and provides approximately 80% of the info I need on a daily basis. Correct. Cons: no integration with a credit card swiping device. That's correct. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually did this, because they're very much pro integration with softwares and stuff, and I'm sure they'll eventually connect something like what's that thing, Square or something like that. I just imagine that'll happen eventually. Instead, any walk-ins or changes to credit cards for existing reservations will require you to manually input the credit card, which is both time-consuming and costs us thousands of dollars extra a year in fees. Yeah, I mean, we've always had our regular plain old terminal at the front desk that we can charge the remaining balance on. We like to use that terminal because we can answer chargebacks much easier through those. Like, we don't lose all those chargebacks like we do through the terminal that goes through Cloudbeds, since it's a card not present situation. Anyway, so to have that physical terminal in reception connected to Cloudbeds would be amazing, but our old software didn't connect those things, so we didn't expect it. It would be great if they do that, and who knows, maybe they do and we're just not aware of it yet. Okay, keyed in cards are 1% higher than swiped for us. Keyed in. Oh, so we just swipe physically in person, and then in the guest folio we go add payment and credit card. You select Visa, MasterCard, whatever, and the total that they paid, and just press record, and it records the payment in the software. We're not actually typing in the credit card details into Cloudbeds. That doesn't make sense. But I guess these guys probably don't have a physical terminal, so it's a little annoying for them. Okay, no mobile app. That's true. Actually, the only person we asked about was who was a Cloudbeds user before we switched over, said, yeah, mobile apps like the #1 thing on their ideas board, and they still for years haven't done it or made it. I think that's quite a big task to pull. Usually they make small improvements at a time, so I'm not surprised if that won't be on available for years. Meaning you need to use their site, which is not mobile friendly. Correct. Poor item entry to a reservation. I didn't like that at first, how long it takes to add an item to a reservation. That's just something I did think of a possible shortcut for that, but we don't actually use it. So adding items to the system is a breeze, but adding them to a reservation takes 7 clicks if you're already on the reservation folio. First of all, why aren't you in the folio already? And no, I don't think it takes 7 clicks, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. Otherwise, it could take 10 from the calendar. Well, you should be in the reservation doing other things, so I don't know what this guy's talking about. Total waste of time, especially when we sell numerous small items from our premise store. Well, that's your problem. Do vending, man. Jeez. The main manager here said one of the biggest changes for him as a hostel owner was switching to vending, not selling too many things from reception. Slows too many things down. It's just automatic income stream. It's great. Highly recommend vending, apparently. Okay, Cloudbeds is our daily use program. Overall experience is a 10. We use the program daily for 24 hours a day. It is live onto our website and has assisted us in every way. 100% would recommend. Okay, Cloudbeds is our daily use, blah, blah, blah. Has a slight learning curve, but once learned is super easy to comprehend and use on the daily. Yeah, it has a much faster learning curve than our last software by far. There's fewer just weird, buggy nonsense. Cloudbeds is much more intuitive. Customer service is wow. No matter the issue, you speak to someone directly every time and they help every time. That's correct. We don't get a single ignored email. Our past support person, you would send an email with 3 points to address and they'd only address the first. I don't think I've experienced that with Cloudbeds yet. They have professionally trained staff, from what I can tell. The updates are frequent, constantly adding new features. Multiple times we contacted customer service about an issue, and a week or two later, there was an update adding said feature to make it easier. Well, that's just coincidence, I think. Okay, easily management and would recommend. The only downside, if one at all, is that the program is live, meaning a power surge or anything, and you can't use it. Sometimes updates happen at inconvenient times. That is super true. So our prior PMS was offline. It was like a desktop thing, and we really, really liked that because we would have power outages occasionally, and occasionally our Wi-Fi wouldn't be as good as we would hope. So switching was a big consideration. They really had to have a lot more pluses in order for us to develop a procedure and have a backup for bad Wi-Fi or a power outage or something. So we did end up buying backup Wi-Fi. I don't know. I haven't really worked the desk though, or had to use it. And worst case scenario, we use a manager's mobile hotspot, and it works fine. So yeah, but you have to have a plan in place for sure. And they do some update when they update. You don't really control that. Okay, the best property management software for power users. That might be me, a power user. We chose Cloudbeds to manage our Riyadh in Morocco while being based in the UK. We wanted to ensure that the property would run smoothly and that we would have total visibility of business activity, and Cloudbeds totally delivers on that. Pros: Cloudbeds is sophisticated, flexible, with every aspect of the system highly configurable. The functionality covers all of our day-to-day requirements, can handle unusual use cases. It also has integrations with distribution channels, payment providers, Zapier, REST API for custom development. By the way, yes, this is true. They have so many integrations. It's crazy. The API is not for, a Joe Schmo user. That is for actual companies to connect with. And they seem to be a popular company or a popular PMS for example, startups to reach out to make a connection to through the API. So, for example, I went to a Hostel World conference where they talked about a check-in app on the phone that also is a key to your room. And of course, one of the only PMS systems they've already integrated with was Cloudbeds. So any startup or anyone doing anything interesting reaches out to Cloudbeds first, or we use one of the first PMSs they connect to. So it makes for a lot of integrations and cool things. This allows automation of much of what would otherwise be highly laborious tasks. I have seldom had to use it, but when I have, their support has been responsive and very helpful. Given the sophistication of the software, there's a steep learning curve initially, particularly with less technical front of house staff. I don't even agree with that. This is so much easier than our last system. So maybe I just have a bad example. Yes, there's a learning curve, but since when can you use a PMS that has no learning involved? That doesn't make sense. When we switched to Cloudbeds, we had to change, how we are adding night system and how our assistant managers did their day-to-day. You have to change your system to fit your PMS, and, you should have some videos to train your staff and stuff like that. But we knew that ahead of time, so I don't know what all this learning curve stuff is. However, this is more than compensated for the benefit once you are familiar with the system. Yep. Great PMS and always improving. I've been through 5 PMS. What? Why? That's a lot. 4 of them in the last 3 years. Wow, you've had many bad experiences. The owner gave me 2 weeks to switch over PMS systems, and that was a hellish 2 weeks for sure. I can't imagine doing that every year, multiple times a year. My difficulty was to find a software that was adequate for my guest house and my vacation apartments. I finally found what I need in Cloudbeds. It's a very small use case, it seems. It was recommended to me by another hotel, and it was my lucky day. This software is very easy to use, complete, and they're always making it better with all the suggestions given by us. Yeah, that's true. The customer support is the best I've ever worked with. Very professional and fast in helping you. Probably because software works so well, they don't have many complaints. Not according to our inbox. We don't have that many problems, but there's always something to contact them about and follow up on, it seems. The PMS has a channel manager for all the main websites and increasing daily the number of channels. They have a ridiculous amount of channels. I've never heard of most of them. It works perfectly without any problems and no double bookings due to connection delays. Yeah, we haven't experienced a true double booking. We've experienced problems with the OTAs not being able to connect with Cloudbeds because of the OTA issue, and those always get emailed to us. But our old software, we would get about 2 overbookings a year. It was still pretty infrequent. We have freed 3 to 4 hours of daily work with this PMS. Ooh, I wish that were true for me. Which we can apply to other activities. I guess if you have good systems, it could really free up your time. I think we're very picky as a hostel, and particular about how we run the business, so 3 to 4 hours would be a lot of time saved daily. If you're looking for an excellent PMS with a reasonable price, then this is what you want. I highly recommend this system, and I intend to keep working with them for a long time. Easy to use, very complete, well organized and flexible. They're always looking for housekeeping. Module still needs a bit of working. I haven't used this, but it would be great to have it. It just costs extra, and it costs enough already with the current features we asked for. Reports also need improvement, and the list of channels available could be higher. I disagree with that, of course, 100%. Reports are pretty good. We only use a couple regularly, so all the other things are just nonsense to us that we don't use. However, they work all the time to improve, so it's just a matter of time. That's very, very true. Our invoices, for example, used to be messy. And part of that is because of how I set up our property on Cloudbeds. I could explain it, but that'll be another video. And then they made a I don't know what they call it, like a consolidated invoice or something. All you have to do is like click, there's like a checkbox, and you just click it, and all of a sudden the invoices were just so easy to read for the customers. Okay, super friendly, functional. The PMS has nice colors and graphics, plus statistics per channel, room types, comparing years, etc., adding new stuff all the time. Yeah, a lot of those sound like reports that we don't use that much. Support is super. The team replies in the day with a fix most of the times. Cloudbeds team updates frequently, taking care of the product, and they listen to new suggestions. Very important. I have problems with other channel managers in the past not working well, not sending all updates to channels, top brand names, but not here. Cloudbeds channel manager works spot on, no update issues. Changes from the PMS go to the channels in just a few seconds. Yeah, I think the slowest one to sync was Hostel World for me, for whatever reason. I totally trust it. But by the way, if you do have issues with updates getting pushed to channels, and I don't mean just like prices. Prices I think are pretty immediate, but if you do have problems, you could do a closeout on selling on that OTA for the 1 or 2 hours it takes to update or something, which is fine. I totally trust it. It closes when it sells out and opens once a room is canceled. Yeah, that's really nice. That canceled things get deleted from Cloudbeds, or not deleted, but they just get kind of removed from the calendar and they no longer block up availability. I guess our old PMS did that. That was nice. Auto mode, no overbookings, no trouble. We actually intentionally get overbookings in certain room types. Giving me time to focus on other parts of my business. Now I can have holidays and peak season. When before I used to leave end of the season. Yeah, we've actually taken more vacations, which I don't know if that's Cloudbeds or like ease of use or like being just more relaxed now that we know that the software takes care of things more than our old one did. But it's also a combination of having really good assistant managers here. So it's probably partially due to Cloudbeds. My staff is loving it. Pure positive energy. I'm 2 years with Cloudbeds, a happy customer, and would definitely recommend it. So she's been, or he has been here or with Cloudbeds for longer than I have. Good product, but their API is very, very buggy. Integration with booking engines. Pros, good user interface, simple and easy to use, fast, good integration with booking.com and hostelworlds.com. That's true. API is not reliable. Don't build your third-party app on top of it. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about the API. Because, again, they don't let individual properties into their API. You have to be a company that makes a product for hospitality, basically. Thanks for your feedback. API is a priority for us. We have a dedicated team working on it. We're constantly improving, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a vendor response, I guess. Cloudbeds is the greatest tool for hoteliers. Cloudbeds is one of the best services available, if not the best. Our hotel has been working with them for over a year now and couldn't be any happier. Their broad range of tools makes them top value for money software. Yeah, that's basically exactly why we switched to them. They have the complete package and can adapt the software and cost for your needs and size of the hotel. That's true. They have options that some of which we bought, some of them we didn't buy. Another great thing is that they have been updating the software with new tools that we as users request, and support is excellent via email or phone. They are not accessible via phone last time I checked. They do email. We use all of the tools they provide, PMS, OTA Manager, Website Booking Engine, among others, which are quite user-friendly and save you a lot of time and resources. We tried other services at the time and decided that Cloudbeds met all of our needs, and we don't regret our choice. We can definitely recommend them to any hospitality owner/operator. Pros, it has a broad range of tools, PMS, OTA Manager, blah, blah, blah. Easy to use and fast learning curve. Thank you, fast learning curve. It can be used in many devices like PC, tablet, or mobile. Support is fast and responsive. They adapt to your needs. Well, that could have been written by me, but it was written by Claudio. And okay, my opinion, the software filled what it was designed for. Oh, don't go too far with your praise. Cloudbed boasts of having a plethora of people, despite that it is impossible to have a French-speaking interlocutor. Oh, we have a Frenchie here. Okay, which is far from being a dead language. Ouch. Oh, the Frenchies, they crazy. As the handling is quite technical, it would be good for everyone to be able to exchange in this language. Well, they probably should have one or two people who could speak French. They seem to, well, I think they list on their site which languages they can do support. And French market is, I think, enough developed to offer a dedicated software. Although this software is very practical, it can be improved despite the ideas and recommendations sent. Never no return, especially when it comes to changes, in my opinion. Easy to implement. Right. I mean, what percentage of hostel owners and countries are French compared to other ones? I don't know. I mean, I think they speak Portuguese, but I think they started out providing in Brazil or something like that. So that's probably the only reason why they focus on Portuguese over French. Okay. It worth every single penny when we don't need to work by hand with hundreds of OTAs channels. Yeah, don't work by hand, guys. At least get something that has channel management with it. We even can collect client from website direct to the Cloudbeds, correct? And it is going to live with the agent when they are able to check, book, and confirm by their own account. I don't know what that means. This will minimize manpower, save a lot of time. Let's just look at their cons because they seem to be impressed by channel management. They have a how to learn video. It is an online system, and this is a weak point for our property because we are a cruises which launch to the bay every day with very bad signals, so sometimes our crew team need to come to the pier to use the system. Yep, that would be a problem for them for sure. Cloudbeds has changed my business. From the first time we spoke, Rep has been available to answer questions and help me structure my subscription. He was polite, informative, really familiar with his product. Everyone else with whom I have spoken when I had an issue, and the staff have treated me with respect, courtesy, and seem genuinely interested in helping me get the most out of this software. Yeah, our salesperson, I think he knew a lot. I mean, we definitely overwhelmed him with over 100 questions, very specific ones that he'd have to understand the concept behind before he could even answer it. And come up with a solution that would work within Cloudbeds. And anything he didn't know, he would go talk to the development team with a response email. You know, they spent hours and hours and hours for us working with us. They were very, very helpful, especially in the beginning. Granted, he's a salesperson, but still, he was pretty awesome. Pros: this software is so intuitive and quite simple to set up. The support staff, amazing. Patiently tutored me. Mine is yeah. You know what? Sometimes my main complaints about support people is that they assume you don't know half the features in the software, when really there are people who aren't as comfortable with the software as I am. So while I find some of the responses occasionally condescending from the support people, other people are going to find them really, really useful because they'll just point out features that they probably weren't aware of. It's an interesting way to think about it. Mine is a very small inn, and my sales rep worked hard to help customize the software for me and help optimize the dollars I'm spending with Cloudbeds. All the work I had to previously do, taking reservations, invoicing clients, processing. The software helped. I no longer have to stop other things I am working on to process credit card payments or to book reservations. Additionally, this works to maintain reports. Yep, this is all correct, except this is someone who seems like they had a manual system before, which is silly. I just like the add-ons. It was explained that not all users need certain features, but since my property is so small, it seems to me that if I have need of additional features to best operate this small property, most other properties would need these features too. Yep, we did add on a couple features. Perfect. We reduce our working hours, less hours, checking reservations availability, easy to use, no more overbookings. This is interesting. Nobody's had overbookings at all. Interesting. Because I did find a bug. I wasn't I don't even know if it's considered a bug. They said the development team's going to work on it, where we allow for overbookings, but only for managers to make them on purpose. And I found a way that receptionists could accidentally overbook a room type. But that was really weird because I was just making videos for our staff and stumbled upon it. And I was surprised that we hadn't actually faced that issue yet. So technically, somebody should have overbooked at some point. Okay, I would like it to have more reports as meals. Easy way for invoices. I don't know what that means. Okay, real-time synchronization, connect all OTA's credit card view function, email templates, reporting possibilities. Yep, I like all of those features. This is there's nothing you don't like. Okay. Cloudbeds is the best decision I have made moving from our old PMS company. Hey-o. Ease of use, accurate rates and availability, great tech support, great customer service, very cost effective, and overall great all-around product. Cloudbeds is so user-friendly, and the fact that you have every function and administrative features available with a simple click of the mouse is icing on the cake. Every function along with any changes that need to be made are real-time and always correct. I think I've gone over the positive stuff enough. Now I'm just going to look for negative reviews because I feel like sometimes we learn the most from those. Cons, I have yet to find anything. All right, calm down. I'm going to look for negative reviews. Okay, these are 3 stars and below. Only suitable for very small businesses without revenue management goals. This is from 2019. Use the software for 1 to 2 years. Hospitality with 51 to 200 employees. Well, that's a lot of employees. A lot of people think that us having occasionally like 20 employees, something like that, is a lot. So that's way more. Okay, very frustrating. Frequent issues and glitches. Would not recommend for fast-paced environment as the system is not reliable. I find that they do have a fair amount of small glitches, probably more small glitches than our old software, and they tend to be heavy around the time when Cloudbeds just did an update on something. So I do wish that their development team learned how to test it better, their software, before they released like new features and stuff. So I could see someone having that many employees would get really annoyed with that. Okay, pros. Easy to use. Some features like the search function where you can search for a name or any reservation number. Hopefully all PMS systems have that. Both direct and third party are good. Okay, perfect for small B&B or guest house where you don't manage multiple rates and room types, as this system cannot handle it. They just updated something with that, different rates. Like if, for example, we have 2 types of private rooms that are also shared inventory. That's a whole other thing. And they should always be the same price, but sometimes our manager who handles it forgets to change the price of one or the other. And they just made a feature where you can link prices together. So if you change one, it changes the other. So maybe they have features that address this more. We're not technically a small hostel. We're a 150-bed hostel, including staff beds. So I don't know. I mean, we're not as big as they are. Definitely not suitable for hostels. Excuse you. That's not true. Even though they advertise this way, you will need to set up and manage each and every bed you have in the hostel separately. No bulk setup possible. Oh, I think they mean when you transition into Cloudbeds. I found that it was easier to import one-person reservations than multi-person reservations. I could do it. It just required more manual work. And I definitely didn't want to split up the multi-person reservations. But it handles them from channels and from website and all that stuff nowadays perfectly. So it's just the importing of reservations, which, by the way, we could have paid for, but I did it instead. Cons. Constant issues with performance. The system is often down for periods of time and always in the middle of the day when we have guests checking in and out. They do often have bugs on our busiest of days. It drives me crazy. I don't know how that happens. I guess the more their system is tested, the more likely it is to have a bug. But it rarely does something that full out screws us over, you know. Usually our receptionists are more likely to do their own nonsense that causes more problems at the hostel than Cloudbeds does. The support team are only vaguely knowledgeable in the system and will send you replies from a script rather than looking into the cases properly. Isn't that the complaint about every support system ever? You just have your dummies in every group of people. But overall, I really like their support. They churn out auto replies all the time. I don't think that's true anymore. In fact, I've had support people record individual video for me to demonstrate something. Of course, I've sent them videos as well. So yeah, anyway, it's obvious they don't use the system and don't know it well. Again, I think you got a new support person. There is no revenue management functionality. You do revenue management, so I don't know. You can only have one rate mapped to channels, and they work on product level, not rate level. I think I've actually been dealing with this because we wanted to switch entirely to non-refundable rates. I think part of that is the problem with the OTAs as well, but I've never dealt with a complicated pricing system, I guess, where there's different... Anyway, I'm not as knowledgeable about this, but yes, you have to pick one price. You can't do... You can choose to send out to different OTAs, like an increase. So if you want, for example, OTAs to be 5% more than someone who booked on your website, you can say, okay, Hostel World is 5% more for you. Okay, Booking.com is 5% more for you. Like, there are settings that you could do that for, but they sound like they want something much more complicated than we've ever even conceived of, to be fair. So you can't even close out a rate type, only the entire room type. I'd need to know more specifics about that. No possibility of setting up any policies. You can only add text. Policies. No group functionality and no proper tax setup. Yeah, taxes, I had some ideas about how their tax system would be good for us. As someone who never did room taxes until we moved over to Cloudbeds, it turned out I developed a system, but it is actually kind of basic. I ended up simplifying my tax setup. And I think it's very thorough, and I'll do a video on that later. Reporting, very poor. There are a total of 26 usable reports, of which only 6 pertain to revenue management, and there's no PACE report, which is a basic revenue report. Yeah, I don't know much about reporting apart from the gist of what we actually use. No proper bulk update tool for rates. They have more of those now. It's a little annoying to have to change all your rates or set them all in the beginning, and I think I did those a little inefficiently, but anytime you set up a PMS, you'd have to reset the rates, so it's just gonna take time. Again, it works on product level, so you can only do one room type at a time unless you... That's not true anymore. I know for a fact that's not true. You can set up multiple room types. It's the same price if that's what they are, unless you sell all your rooms at the same rate, which is unlikely. So they made this in August 8th, 2019. I don't think they're aware of some of the features if they're complaining about something that's existed for so long. Anyway. Maybe they made the update right after this person quit or something. Okay, connectivity to OTAs, online bookings, lots of benefits actually. As many as any channel manager. But the problem was service with the product didn't work when it really hurt us. no one to call, no phone number listed. We're just so used to that since our old software provider was in like Ireland, I think, and as is Hostel World and stuff like that. So we always communicate via email. Only online help, which was not helpful. They always made the problem mine, not ours, as they are hired to be the experts. Sometimes you do have to prove that you have a actual problem, and so I always try to get as much information as possible from our front desk about what issues they're having, reservation numbers of examples. And usually that's enough. Sometimes they request a video, which is like, well, it's not happening all the time, so I don't know how we could record that. But usually a reservation number is all they need. Like I really can solve the problems of their product not connecting. Okay, the software works wonders when it works. It's when there's a connectivity issue or bug in the system this firm fails. Online support does exist, and they do offer quick feedback, not necessarily helpful, but it is fast feedback. Ouch. Okay, no phone number to call, no personal assistance, lots of volumes of help pages. But when your connectivity with an OTA goes faulty, guaranteed to get an email from customer service quickly saying you'll need to contact the OTA provider, who will tell you to contact your channel manager. I just had a thing with our non-refundable rates in Hostel World. They told us to contact our channel manager, and then Cloudbeds told us to contact Hostel World. I think it's just not possible that we can have the setup that we want exactly. And I always try to simplify, like, hey guys, I'm not asking you to, fix anything right now. I'm just asking if someone has ever set up a Hostel World thing through Cloudbeds this way. Please respond to that question. And usually you'll get a decent answer. These guys sell themselves as the professionals, but don't want to take care of the real immediate issues. Any connection issue is an immediate issue when needing to sell rooms online. Yeah. They sound like they had real problems. That was in 2018, May. Hi, Amy. We don't have a call-in number because we would rather get back to you in a few minutes with a solution than put you on hold. Okay. We replied to most of your tickets within 10-30 minutes with a resolution. We have some of the best rated support in the industry and 99.9% of system uptime. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be hard to find a support system that's as good as Cloudbeds for sure. We hope we've been able to earn back your trust in our support team over time. No, we'll see. Okay, not all it's cracked up to be, right? Oh, this is 2019. I'm not usually one to write a review. That's always a lie. Never listen to anyone saying that. But it was based on the many positive reviews on Capterra that I decided to go with this software in order to make my life easier. Well, that's the point of this video, I guess, is reading these and seeing what's relevant. It doesn't do this, and I'm confused why so many people rate this software 5 stars. I therefore feel obliged to add some balance and reality with this review. There are so many things wrong with this software that it's not possible to list them all here, so I'll just list a few. Okay, cool. One main problem is the fact that Cloudbeds doesn't send rate package information to OTAs. The only rate package we have is a BS one for like fake staff reservations, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with that. But when you switch over PMS systems, if something like a rate package is important to you and that it gets pushed out to OTAs, like please ask that before you switch softwares or choose that software. Know what your absolute musts are, what's slightly optional, that sort of thing ahead of time. We ask so many questions, so many, because we're an established business switching PMS systems. Like we cannot mess this up. So just, you have to sit on it, make a list of things that are really, really, really important, that sort of thing, and ask them ahead of time and have them show it to you. This means that all discount specials need to be managed separately within each channel. Very time consuming. Okay, well that's what he uses it for. With Airbnb, you can't apply short-term price changes / discounts at all on that channel because of this limitation. Yeah, so when Airbnb wasn't connected to the PMS, we had to manually, create reservations for them in Cloudbeds, right? And that was pretty normal because our last PMS worked that way. So that means that the Airbnb native settings where you can do like discounts if someone, books last second or something, then all that native Airbnb features disappeared and they become standard, like a standard OTA. So I don't know if other OTAs offer last minute booking features, but I was always under the impression you have to do that on the OTA itself, not the channel manager. But I don't know enough about that because we've never used that because we're ridiculously cheap where we are. Okay, second major limitation is the fact that the website is almost completely useless on a mobile app. That's not true. I checked on mobile, ours, and it was okay. It wasn't great because we use an iframe to put it on our website, which, if you know what that is, great. But yeah, I think it is mobile friendly. Anyway, they'll tell you that they don't need a mobile app because the platform is mobile friendly. It is mobile friendly, all right? Calm down. This simply isn't true. My third major gripe comes from feedback from clients that the booking engine is clunky and not appealing or easy for them to use, and I agree. When we were new to the booking engine, that's the version that's on our website, there were some things we didn't like, and you don't really control the setup unless you have someone at your hostel who has CSS and HTML experience, and they can set up like custom and customize certain things. But I'm not experienced enough with those things to mess with their format. So, and they gave examples of hostels that did do their own custom HTML and stuff. So, hire someone to do that for you if you hate the booking engine. I don't know. To get an idea of all the other minor issues, scroll through the 151 pages of feature requests. That's so true. There's so many feature requests. If you make a new feature request, like, it's guaranteed to never, ever, ever reach the top feature requests ever. I don't know. I've only been there like a year and change, so I have no idea. Stripe integration. I think that's pro. They are integrated with Stripe. Custom email templates. Yep, I love those as well. You can send out emails at specific times to certain OTA guests, that sort of thing. Cons: doesn't send rate package information to OTAs, lack of a mobile and website, blah, blah, blah. Difficult to get long-term visual overview on a calendar. Yeah, I guess you only see a few weeks in the calendar, but that's because the calendar needs to be readable. I don't know. Okay, reports lack functionality / customization. I don't use those that much. Booking engine has a poor layout for the customer. Price overrides are not straightforward. Price overrides. I don't know what that is. Cloudbeds looks good, but that's about it. Basically no support whatsoever. Learning experience: don't go with companies that only have email support. We lost a few $1,000s in business from their negligence. I'd be curious what happened. Booking engine appearance is modern and clean. Scrolling calendar on mobile devices. Calendar shows today's check-ins and checkouts. Shows much more. Oh, do they mean on mobile when you log in on a mobile device? Yeah, I don't recommend logging into Cloudbeds on a mobile device. Okay, no support. When you have an issue, you email and wait. Then they say, that's not possible, but put it in the ideas board so it can get voted on. Yeah, nobody likes that response, but I guess that's their standard solution. I don't know. And there it will sit for years. Daily workflow. I feel like they have a plan, and when they get enough complaints about something, they do act on it because it's just overwhelming for them. But I feel like they have a lot to do and they have a set plan, and so you walking in are not going to be able to influence them too much unless you're a part of a crowd. So, that's just the reality of how a business works. And the fact that they do make improvements is good enough for me, and that they have the features that you absolutely need. Okay. Daily workflow was terribly inefficient compared to our old system. What did you have? Opera or something? Jeez. The check-in process took about 5 minutes longer with so many more clicks just to print something. Became a nightmare. It takes like 2 clicks to get a printable thing, and then you have to click print on it. I know what they mean, but I think that's the price of having so many features, is you have to have somewhere to store it, and then so you have to click something to get to it. Our prior software probably was fewer clicks, but it was just a nightmare with other things. Anyway, and it was just more prone to issues, whereas Cloudbeds has more like automated type things. For example, card fees, amenity fees, something you regularly add on top of a normal reservation. The receptionist would have to remember to click it and add it to the reservation, whereas Cloudbeds just does it if it's from the correct OTA or something like that. So in some ways, there are fewer clicks with Cloudbeds than our old system. Anyway, setting up rates and availability is a total pain initially, but then it gets so much worse. Ouch. It is a pain initially, but I'm curious what they mean by so much worse. Instead of seasonal rate intervals with occasional rate increases for high demand dates, we have hundreds of rate intervals Cloudbeds creates automatically that require tedious manual editing for each room type and each interval. That, I think, that was what existed when we originally moved to Cloudbeds. I remember this, and they didn't have a good system for like changing things in bulk. I totally agree with that. But they've since added so many rate and availability improvements that I now officially disagree with this comment. But this person wrote in 2018 when it was an issue. So where you just kind of have to manually would change everyone's price per day. So I totally get what they're complaining about there. But it's not relevant anymore. All of this means hours of wasted time and energy spent where it should be minutes or even seconds. The cost. There are more robust PMSs out there for much less, period. Don't waste your time. Hey, Kevin, we appreciate your feedback and are always looking for ways to improve. We definitely made some mistakes in this case, from which we will learn, which they did learn. So not all of their, support-friendly responses are complete lies. It just feels insincere sometimes. We prioritize our development based on the collective requests from our customers. In this case, you have some fairly unique requirements that we couldn't accommodate on your timeline. We don't offer a call-in support line because we find it more efficient to get the information first and schedule the call once we have. Yeah, sometimes they do ask me to schedule a call, which I never do. Once we have the details and can solve the issue versus asking our customers to wait on hold. Agreed. I hate waiting on hold for sure. From looking through your case, it looks like we average getting back to you within 30 minutes in most cases. Yeah, they always respond pretty quickly. What was I going to say? So I think because they require email first, I think they can get a hold on the issue before they call or email back, which I do agree with that response 100%. Okay, Cloudbeds review. No customer service. 99% of the time, I need someone on the phone with pretty immediately. Okay, so it's very clear that if you require phone service, don't sign up for Cloudbeds because they're not going to do that. So just don't expect it. Not an email asking me what the problem is again. Yeah, well, that's a support thing where sometimes they ask you for more details or to demonstrate somehow. Did not like the impersonal feel of this company. That's not my experience. The setup was relatively easy and it was user-friendly from the inside the booking end. It was not user-friendly for the customers on the booking engine. I don't agree with that, but I haven't checked in a while. Now I have to check it. Way too complicated. Our bounce rate quadrupled overnight as people would leave the website thinking we had no availability. There are no reports for the accounting side. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. So we never actually calculate bounce rate on our website. And I would be very curious since they check it. That's an interesting concept. I guess know your bounce rate before you switch PMS systems. I don't know. Okay, there are no reports for the accounting side. I have no idea about that. Just overall not user-friendly for accounting and guests. I would ask if you're thinking about Cloudbeds to see if they do have accounting reports now. Because this person reviewed Cloudbeds 8 days ago. I don't know if we should trust that though. Okay, let's see here. When it works, it's a great system, but daily downtime and the worst customer support I've ever dealt with made it an easy choice for us to move to another system. Actively working on updating their system, just not the problems that few hotels deal with. I pray for your soul if you ever have to deal with their customer support. That seems to be another common theme in the negative reviews. They probably got pissed one too many times and decided to leave a negative review. And there's certainly been plenty of times when I've been annoyed, but I think slowly over the year and change I've been with them, I've learned to better communicate the issues we're having quicker basically, and how to escalate it to someone more qualified to respond if I think the first response was, nonsense. I've never been through such a frustrating process for 12 weeks and still don't have a major problem fix. Whoa, 12 weeks. That's a big thing. I wonder if it is a bug or if it's just, interesting. Because they claim to have used software for 1 to 2 years. So 12 weeks, like, that implies that there was a bug for 12 weeks, not that they were setting up Cloudbeds initially and found out it doesn't have a feature that they wanted. Contract was renewed even though we had written confirmation it wouldn't be before we discussed common issues. We've never tried to cancel our contract or anything, so interesting. Hey Felix, it was great to chat with you on the phone. As we discussed, we are sorry that you did not have a great experience. Our team should have done a better job of communicating the timeline of the issue. Yeah, that's true. Some people are better at describing the timeline of how quickly something might be fixed, and also made more of an effort to reach out regarding your billing questions. We are now working on this issue and definitely took your feedback on how we can improve the communication process in the future. We hope you stay with us and we can earn back your trust. That seems to be your common phrase, support guy. But as we discussed on the phone, we are also more than happy to help you move to another system if you would like. Sounds like Cloudbeds has to deal with their own customer service gaffes, if you will. It's comforting since in hospitality we have to deal with a lot of angry people. Terrible customer service. Hey-o. If they even bother to reply to your email. By the way, I don't agree with that at all. They've never not responded to an email. You're explaining the same problem at least 3 times. Sometimes, yeah, if they don't believe that the problem exists. But, do what you can to convince them. And then they make false promises. I I've never experienced a false promise. If anything, they hold back a little bit on purpose so they don't disappoint you. Works in the cloud when it works. Production and finance reports are okay. Taxes calculated wrong. Been addressing this issue for a year and keep getting promised it will be fixed in the next release. That was 9 months ago. That would be very frustrating. And that was in 2019, earlier this year. Yeah, so, I mean, I'm planning on doing a how I do our taxes video. Maybe I'll push that up since this is multiple people who've complained about tax. I'm sure that taxes work differently everywhere. But yeah, maybe it's useful. Okay, the software itself was rather easy to use, not much else. The salesman had a good story, but not true in the end. Yeah, that's everybody's fear, right? That the salesman says something, but in reality, when you actually purchase, you don't get what you thought you got. That's why I think making these videos will also be helpful, because they'll actually see the features in motion and can be guaranteed they work that way, you know, if Cloudbeds doesn't update it some way. Okay, they are not connected to Glamping Hub, and I was told that they were when I was sold the software. Yeah, I'd be annoyed by that. I would also like to speak with someone in service that I could understand. That's rough. They speak perfect English with me, even the ones who are located in Brazil. So, hi Pamela, we completely agree that an oversell is never good for anyone. In this case, we do offer the connection with the channel, so this wasn't misrepresented. The connection we have now works, but exactly the way you wanted it to work isn't supported right now. We're always striving to. Oh, interesting. So they probably proved that it was incorrect to review. So we passed your feedback. Our support team members located in 28 countries, including the United States, and provide 24/7 support to customers. Yep. And then there's just a 1-star review. Entrepreneur in residence, whatever that means. Okay, let's do one more website, and let's look at the what did you dislike or think could be improved. Some of the functionalities are quite complex and could use some simplification. I'd be curious to know which ones. Few areas to develop multi-currency feature, which enables to convert different currencies. That's interesting. We don't have that problem because people just pay with US dollars only or credit cards. Payment gateway support Sri Lanka would be great. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm in the US. A Cloudbeds application is necessary. I'm assuming they mean app. Well, short for application. When removing 1 day from a reservation, we should have the option to select keep full price or remove 1 day from folio. In case someone cancels 1 day last minute, we want to open up the room but still need to receive the full amount. In that case, all you have to do is take the full amount and then unclick the last day. And it will say that you owe them money, but you could just safely ignore that. I think that is a workaround for what this person wants. And this is the type of thing exactly that they'll tell you to put on the Ideas tab. Okay, options to adjust an added item on a folio instead of having to remove and add again. You can adjust an item on the folio. I've done it many times. Okay, you need to be able to block one room, for example, if guests really want one specific room that does not have their own room type and anyone else books. Sometimes you are forced to change guests to another room or to split up the booking. Oh, I think you might be able to do that through like how you set it up. But then you would have to make online bookers be able to see which room they're booking, like room 1, room 2, room 3. I think you could do setup that way, but I could be wrong. I would definitely ask to see an example. Pie rates should not be added to the base rates overview. I don't know anything about pie, although they seem to love pie at Cloudbeds. It's most of what they talk about. All right, more customization options. Need place for authorization codes. Authorizing credit cards? Mobile app. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Same day checkout should be made available. Hey, yo, that's definitely an idea I have voted on many times. Actually, they only let you vote once. But same day checkouts, that'd be great, guys, because what we currently do is if someone checks in one day, which, by the way, they have to have a check-in date for today to check in today. If they have a check-in date in the past or in the future, I don't think it works. Anyway, or maybe they could do it for yesterday and today. Anyway, so if someone checks in today and then checks out like a few hours later, maybe they just wanted a shower or something, you have to, well, you just receive payment for today, mark them as in-house. And then when they come out to check out, you have to move their reservation over a day in order to check them out, because you cannot check them out on a day that's not today. So that's what we do. And then sometimes it says they owe money or we owe money, but all we do is make a note in their reservation that says, oh, hey, they same day checkout. So that's why money is owed. More dynamic invoicing options. I guess we don't use invoicing unless somebody has a question about their prices or just wants a record of it, which you could just send via email super quickly in Cloudbeds. What do you dislike or think could be improved? It's better to introduce a Cloudbeds app, which will be more convenient for users. Yeah, that seems to be a common manager request, is the mobile app. It keeps coming up over and over again. I think people just want to be able to manage well from, you know, when they're out, because hospitality is like a 24/7 business. So that makes sense. But I also understand why they haven't made one, because that's a lot. Okay. No bad points yet. There's always a lot of tutorials available to refer to before calling support. We wish they had their own PayPal type collection processor. Yeah, PayPal, it would be cool to have that connected to Airbnb reservations. I'll make a whole video on how Airbnb works. It doesn't work fully as well as other OTAs, but it works for some things right now. Badly need an app. Okay, the website is not very well optimized for mobile phone screens. I'm definitely going to have to double check this. In fact, let me do that now. Hostelcat.com. Hey-o. I'm going to... nope. Minimize it. Go to reserve page. Okay. Let me make it tiny, like a phone. That's about as thin as Chrome is going to go, apparently. Okay, but I've definitely looked at it on my phone, and this is about what it looks like. So all the text, and then we have an iframe with the booking engine in it. Hostel Cat, it scrolls through photos, check in, check out, search. Okay, and then it shows what's available. Say I want one private room, 3 adults. How do you do? Yeah, it doesn't let you do 0, obviously. I think that's interesting. Okay, and then if you selected the thing above, you'd have to scroll down and click book now. And then you just enter in your info. I think that's pretty mobile friendly. Call me crazy. Okay. Having a dynamic rate structure. That seems to be a common thing. I think just ask them to show you how rate structures work and how you want them to work before you sign up. Make sure it works for you. Ability to amend reservations through the calendar without the calendar resetting to today's date. Oh, meaning if you want to change someone's reservation in the future, like months from now, you have to find their reservation. I don't know why you would find it in the calendar. And so you open it up to edit it. You could just open it in another tab and have the calendar still open to that date. You don't have to reload the calendar. I don't know. I don't agree or understand what they're saying, I guess. Don't bug everyone for new features that need to be paid. Mail only admin. Ha! I never receive emails from Cloudbeds unless it's a response to a support ticket or an invoice. Let payment be marked from calendar page. That'd be great. But we always have a lot of things to edit in the reservation or double check in the reservation. So, yeah, I don't think it's 100% necessary, but that could be cool. Reports. Currently, the reports we can generate are very simplistic. Yeah, that seems to be another theme. If you have a super need for a detailed report, double check how you would accomplish that report in Cloudbeds, and you could see if it's sufficient or not. Would be great to add more detailed reports from sources by country. I think there are country and sources reports by channel, including ADR. What's ADR? I don't know. Okay. A payment. Okay. No, this is. I've already seen these. Move more, please. Okay. Promises not kept in regards to callback times. It's usually more than 24. Their customer service is a joke. They even reply to your email. This is a repeat. Yeah, this guy did multiple reviews on different sites. Just try to screw him over, apparently. People from the Netherlands are always so nice. Make it easier for properties to connect to OTAs, so it's very convenient to work with new channels. Really? They do connect to lots of OTAs. Okay. Integration with zero accounting, since we are a group of companies with other businesses. Interesting. Okay. I don't know the likelihood of that. It would be nice to have an app that would be able to more control through mobile devices. I know they are working on it. They are? Cool. I would add some reports, especially for commercial decision making. Among them, a calculation of pickup, 1, 3, 7 days, report of year to date and sales evolution, among others, translated from Spanish. Oh, this review was translated from Spanish. Okay. The booking engine, it lets down your whole system, and I was reluctant to associate it with my website. Yeah, I don't know how fancy people's booking engines are right now. I guess it's really easy to get a sample of what your website would look like, or your booking engine would look like, so just get them to show it to you. I feel I have no choice but to use it, but seriously needs improving. Again, you can change the HTML, CSS on many things, so I disagree with that. You need an app. Yeah. New to improving how the invoices are. Need improving on how invoices are displayed. I talked about that earlier. They did improve that. Reporting needs to be improved. Very unintuitive. Key information not displayed easily. Okay. Yeah. Same. Please do not improve anything. I am so spoiled with quality of the services you offer that I want to cry when dealing with other companies in the market. From Latvia. Hey, yo. I think I'm going to end on that because it seems like the negatives are matching each other with similar complaints. And yeah, so I think I overviewed pretty well what is correct and incorrect about the reviews, what I know and don't know about it. Of course, every property is going to be unique, but I thought it was interesting to look at the reviews.